Let's get this over with. Let's talk about you. You are born in the year of our Lord 971, though you wouldn't know it. Years are a concern for monks and kings, not for the likes of your family. Your world is a windswept fjord in western Norway, a place of hard rock, thin soil, and perpetual damp. Your father is a farmer, which is a polite way of saying he's a man locked in a losing argument with stones and mud. Your mother is a ghost at her own hearth, worn thin by childbirth and disappointment. You are the third son. This is not a number. It is a verdict. Your fate was sealed the moment you drew breath. It is the ancient, unwritten curse of the surplus male. Your oldest brother gets the farm, a meager inheritance of endless toil. Your second brother gets the boat, a chance to drown somewhere new. You get a pat on the head and the unspoken command to disappear. You remember being 6 years old, watching your father give the good axe, the one with the ash handle, to your brother Eric. He gave you a rusty hatchet and told you to go practice on driftwood. The lesson was clear. Your value was your capacity for violence, and your future lay far from here. The path to Miklagard, the great city, wasn't a choice. It was the only door that wasn't nailed shut. Your childhood ends at 17, or perhaps it never really began. There is no grand ceremony, no tearful goodbye. You simply walk away from the hovel that was never yours, heading for a ship filled with other desperate boys. This longship is your crucible, your military academy. Your transformation doesn't happen in a training camp with shining armor and noble instructors. It happens in the filth of the bilge, among the whispers of cutthroats and thieves. The first grueling lesson is learning to sleep with one eye open, your hand on your knife. The second is learning that a shared language means nothing. A fellow Norseman will still gut you for your boots. The third is the simple, brutal math of survival on the great river journey south through the lands of the Russes. You fail a key test early on. You share your salted fish with a boy from Uppsala who tells you a sad story about his sister. You wake up, and he, your fish, and the single silver coin your mother gave you are gone. The punishment is 3 days of hunger and a permanent hardening in your gut. It is the most valuable lesson you will ever learn. Your name, Olaf, son of Hkon, is scraped away with every league you travel. You are becoming a product. A Varangian, a barbarian axe for hire, your humanity a distant and unhelpful memory. The stories they will later tell are, of course, magnificent lies. They will speak of towering, golden-haired giants, loyal and incorruptible. Demigods in mail, the Emperor's personal, honorable guard. You laugh, even now, at the sheer, breathtaking dishonesty of it all. The reality hits you the moment you step foot in Constantinople. It is the smell. A thick, unholy trinity of sewage, exotic spices, and the sweat of a million unwashed bodies. This is the gilded lie, and you are now trapped in its vile, biological hell. Your gleaming mail shirt is a torture device. Under the Byzantine sun, it becomes a personal oven, cooking you in your own filth while chafing your skin raw. There is no hygiene. The barracks are a hive of vermin, a chorus of hacking coughs and nightmares, smelling of sour wine and despair. Your diet is an insult to the concept of food. Stale, rock-hard bread that threatens your teeth. Olives that taste of brine and rot. Watered-down wine that does little to kill the taste or the bacteria. You quickly learn that a Byzantine assassin is a distant, romantic threat. The immediate enemy is dysentery, a foe that promises a truly pathetic and undignified end on a reeking latrine pit. This is your new world. A biological nightmare wrapped in a fairy tale. You spend 20 years in this gilded cage. And then, one day, you get to be the legend. The year is 1018. The emperor is Basil II, the Bulgar Slayer, a man carved from granite and fury. But even the hardest emperor has enemies within the walls. A general, ambitious and stupid, makes his move. He bribes the local palace guards, the tagmata, who fold like wet parchment. The path to the imperial bedchamber is open, or so he thinks. He forgets about you. about the 50 axes from the north lingering in the outer hall. The stakes are absolute, the life of the emperor, the stability of an empire. It is the one moment your entire, miserable existence has been building towards. You don't wait for an order. You and your brothers form a wall of shields and muscle in a narrow marble corridor. And then they come. Armored aristocrats and their hired thugs, expecting a clear run. They find a meat grinder instead. Your world shrinks to the 3 feet in front of your shield. It is not a duel. It is industrial scale butchery. Your axe rises and falls with the rhythm of a woodsman. A shield splinters. An arm comes off. A helmeted head splits like a melon. The marble floor, depicting scenes from Greek myth, vanishes under a carpet of blood and viscera. You are no longer Olaf. You are a machine designed for dismantling men. The coup is broken on your shield wall. Hours later, Basil, his throne secure, comes to you. He doesn't smile. He inspects the carnage with an appraising eye, like a butcher examining carcasses. He hands you a heavy purse of gold and a nod. You have done your job. The myth is real. For one single day. The next morning, the sun rises on the same tedious reality. You are the hero of the hour, which means you are now more terrifying than ever to the perfumed courtiers you saved. They scuttle past you in the halls, their eyes fixed on the floor, whispering about the barbarian's ferocity. Your reward is a return to the soul-crushing grind. Stand guard. Stare at a mosaic of some forgotten saint. Fight the leaden pull of sleep. Intimidate a mob angry about the price of bread. Your legendary axe, still stained with the blood of traitors, is mostly used to look menacing. Your daily routine is a masterclass in monotony. Wake. Eat the terrible food. Strap on the heavy mail. Stand for hours. Unstrap the heavy mail. Eat the terrible food. Get drunk enough to forget you have to do it all again tomorrow. You are subject to laws that remind you of your status. You are a mercenary, forbidden from marrying a Roman woman, from owning land within the city. You are a weapon to be kept oiled and sharp, but stored in a box until needed. And the most vicious part of the cycle, now you are a veteran. You have to train the new ones. You see the young, stupid boys arriving from the north, their eyes full of the same lies you once believed. And it is your grim duty to beat that hope out of them, to forge them into the same hard, empty tool you have become. You are perpetuating the very system that consumed you. Years crawl by like wounded dogs. Emperors die, new ones rise, and you remain a constant, aging fixture of the palace. Then comes the day the world cracks. It's not a battle. It's an administrative task. The current emperor, a weak and paranoid man, decides a popular general has become a threat. This general is a man you know. A man you've shared wine with, fought beside, whose jokes you've laughed at. The order is delivered not with a shout, but with a quiet, bureaucratic finality. You are to lead the detail that arrests him. The breaking point is not the arrest. It is the sentence. Blinding. It's a routine Tuesday in the Great Palace. You stand in a torchlit room, the air thick with the smell of hot metal and fear. You hold his left arm. He doesn't struggle. He just looks at you, his eyes clear and knowing. He knows you. And then you watch as another guardsman, a man you've known for a decade, presses the hot poker into his eye. There is a sizzle. A smell of cooking meat that will never leave your memory. The general doesn't scream your name. He makes a low, wet sound like an animal. In that moment, the entire artifice of your life collapses. Loyalty, honor, duty, they are just words. Hollow justifications for being the torturer's assistant. The gold in your purse is not a wage. It is blood money. You are not a warrior. You are the state's thug, the enforcer of its cruelest whims. The point of no return is not the sound he makes, but the silence in your own soul that follows. The haunting begins that very night. You close your eyes, and you see his. You hear that sound in the quiet of the barracks. The camaraderie of your fellow guards now feels grotesque. You look at their faces and wonder which one of them held the poker, which one held the other arm, and how they can possibly be eating their breakfast so calmly. You find your anesthetic in the bottom of a wine jug. It's the only thing that quiets the noise in your head. Your service becomes a blurry cycle of guard duty and drunkenness. You pick fights. Your legendary discipline evaporates. Your hands, once steady enough to split a hair with an axe, now tremble until they are wrapped around a cup of wine. Isolation becomes your only comfort. You sit alone, polishing your axe for hours on end, the repetitive motion a kind of prayer to a god you no longer believe in. You are a ghost in your own life, haunted by the man you helped unmake. Your body is in Constantinople, but your mind is trapped forever in that torchlit room, breathing in the smoke of a burning eye. Eventually, they pay you what they owe you and let you go. You are too old, too drunk, too broken to be of any use. You take your small fortune, the accumulated wages of a lifetime of violence and boredom, and you sail home. But there is no home to return to. The farm is gone, sold to a stranger. Your family is dead or scattered. The fjord is just a cold, damp place full of ghosts you don't recognize. Your final days are spent in a timber-framed room above a noisy tavern in Bergen. The legendary Varangian, a man who stared down emperors, is now just a strange old man with a cough and a heavy coin purse. Your death is spectacularly anticlimactic. It's not a sword or an arrow that fells you. It's the damp North Sea air, settling in your lungs after a lifetime in the dry heat of the South. A fever takes hold. You lie on a straw mattress, alone, coughing your life away. In your final moments, you are not thinking of glorious battles or imperial splendor. You are thinking of the smell of hot metal. You die clutching a gold Byzantine coin, a useless talisman against a pathetic, lonely end. You are buried in an unmarked grave, and the world promptly forgets you ever existed. Your story, your real story, is over. But then, a strange thing happens. Centuries later, they find you again. Or rather, they invent you. Scribes and poets, hungry for heroes, craft a new version of you. Your brutal, mercenary career is sandblasted of all its grit and horror. You are reborn in books and songs as the Varangian Guard. You become a symbol of unwavering loyalty, of stoic, martial perfection. A pop culture icon of a noble savage, your axe a tool of justice rather than a butcher's implement. The boy from the fjord, the traumatized killer, the lonely drunk, he is erased. In his place stands a gleaming, romantic lie. And here's the final, brutal truth. The world never wanted you. It wanted your story. And the one they tell, the one they love, is the one that has absolutely nothing to do with the miserable reality of a life that was lived and lost by you. That lie becomes your true legacy. A carefully constructed falsehood, polished by centuries of willful ignorance. They conveniently forget the terror of your first battle. They erase the gnawing homesickness that tasted like ash in your throat. They edit out the casual cruelty, the necessary brutality, the thousand compromises that eroded your soul until it was a smooth, cold stone. The man they celebrate would not have survived a week in your barracks. He would have been robbed, beaten, and left for dead by men exactly like you. Your reality was a chronicle of pain, fear, and the relentless pursuit of a paycheck. Your legacy is a work of fiction, and it is the best-selling story you have ever been a part of. Imagine, if you can, a teenager 1,000 years from your death. He sits in a darkened room, his face illuminated by a glowing screen. On that screen is a digital recreation of you. He is named Olaf the Dragon Slayer, or Bjorn the Unbroken. He wields a ridiculously oversized axe that glows with magic. This digital you slays mythical beasts and rescues princesses. He spouts noble one-liners about honor. When he dies, the boy simply presses a button, and you are reborn, ready to fight again. Your entire miserable existence, your one and only life, has been reduced to a power fantasy, a disposable amusement for a child. Your trauma is his entertainment. Your ugly death is an inconvenience that costs him a few seconds of loading time. Historians will write papers, their words dripping with academic reverence, about the warrior ethos of the Varangian. They will analyze your unflinching loyalty without ever mentioning the cold, hard math of the payroll. They will never write about the shakes you developed, the way your hand trembled as you lifted a wine cup to your lips. They will never discuss the cheapness of a human life in a world where power is the only currency that matters. They will study the weapon, but never the wound it inflicted on the one who wielded it. This is the final transaction. Your suffering has been laundered through time, stripped of its horror, and sold back to the world as a heroic bedtime story. The ultimate irony is that you, who lived and died in service to a series of powerful men, have now become a servant to the most powerful master of all. The comforting, profitable, and utterly inhuman lie of history. So rest now in your unmarked, forgotten grave. Let the stories flutter on without you. They carry none of the weight of your mill shirt, none of the chill of the Norwegian winter, none of the stench of the battlefield. Your pain was real, it was heavy, and it was yours alone. Your legend is weightless, it is clean, and it now belongs to everyone else. It is the final, perfect theft. They took your life, your strength, and your peace of mind. Then, after you were gone, they came back and stole your truth. They will never know the man who shivered in the cold. They only wanted the giant who stood in the fire. And that giant makes for a much better story.